Welcome back to the channel, everybody. If you're new here, this is my 2006 BMW M3 that I picked up at Copart. This is a flood auction, and this was pretty much fully submerged in the water. First video, we did a quick walk around, kind of took inventory of what it is, how it looks. Last video, we just explored under the hood a little bit, took a look inside the engine to see if there was a lot of water in there. And so far, so good. It's a 50-50. Nothing got in the intake system, which is fantastic, but we definitely had water come up through the exhaust valves, which unfortunately then broke our oil pan. So today what I'd like to do is, we've had a lot of components come back to life. We've had the windows work. I've had the top work once or twice. That's still finicky. It's probably the switch is kind of bad. And we've had the fuel pump prime. Gauge cluster comes on, HVAC lights up. We've got all the ingredients to get this thing to start, and I'm hoping in this video we can get this thing to run. All signs point to that this will run. Our major hurdle right now is there is no crank, no start. And we did try to jump to EWS, which should allow it to crank. So more than likely, the starter is frozen up solid from being submerged. So what we're gonna do, we actually need to go a little backwards and take a bunch of all this stuff apart again. We had the strut bar out, the cabin air filter out, the intake and upper lid out. We do need to take the intake plenum off, and that's why we got to get all this stuff back out of the way. Technically, you don't need to do that to get to the starter. You can reach it from underneath, but this intake is fairly easy to take off, so we are going to pop that out. Just give us a little more room that we can get that out, see if we can get it working again, free it up. I've got some M54 starters. They're technically not the same. I'm wondering if maybe we can still get one to work if we can't get the S54 starter to work. So it's going to be a little bit investigative, but I'm hopeful and at least 68% confident that we'll get this thing to crank and hopefully start today. So I'm gonna just put the camera down. I'm just gonna get this stuff out of the way real quick. All right, just like that, we got our upper airbox lid out, intake tube, we've got our strut bar out, cabin air filter housing out. So the next thing we really need to do is get this upper intake plenum off. We've got a couple different hoses that we gotta undo here, another one here. We got one tight use clamps we need to pop off. And there's a couple little connections underneath as well I'll have to kind of reach around and try to get to. Our dipstick tube needs to be unbolted. And here, again, you can kind of see some of the effects of all the water that's been in there. I mean, there's tons of sediment everywhere. And we will, if we get this thing running, we will get this thing outside. We will pressure wash and clean all this stuff up. All right, let's get this dipstick tube undone. This is a 10 mil. Loose now. These should just squeeze and wiggle off just like that. Pull that up out of the way. Now we can move that. Just give us a little bit more room. Decided to get this out of the way, the air box out of the way, just to give a little bit more room for you guys to see and just for me to reach around and get where I need. In case you guys are wondering, this car is a Mola Rot 2. Now it looks like we got another 10 underneath one of the support braces for the intake. Like that. There's another 10 mil back here. I think next I'm going to start working on these clamps, get it kind of loose. I should be able to pick it up a little bit and see what else is underneath. So these are they're called Oetiker clamps. They're one-time use. So, like I said, just a flathead usually gets to them. There we go. That's that one. There we go. There we go. Oh, there we go. I'm gonna fish those out just to get them out of our way. Should be able to start wiggling this thing loose. All right, we finally got her broke free. Had to kind of go around it with a pick, break the seal. There we go. All right. Actually got something. All right, we are out finally. Woo! right, here we can see our ITBs. They make all the great noises. And like I said, they all look really clean. I mean, they have a little varnishing just from, you know, years of use. Yeah, so down here you can see our starter. And to remove it, we're gonna have to go from underneath. So first, I'm just gonna make sure we have 12 volts up to the jump point. I'm just gonna use my multimeter here. 11.47, so the battery's a little weak, but we have 12 volts up. If you notice, the cable runs from that jump point down here to the starter, so we should have 12 volt down there as well. Yeah, it's not a very good ground, but we do have power down to it. I'm gonna knock it out of gear and just jump that solenoid, see if it'll spin. And this really isn't what you should do, but that's what we're doing anyway. And nada, we are not spinning. And we should be. So basically you jump those two terminals and we should be getting spinach. So I'm gonna do the old school trick. I'm gonna give her a few love taps and see if we can get it to come around that way. Let's give her a couple taps on the solenoid. Start us up. I'll actually just try it with a key. Well, it sort of worked. If you notice, there were a couple clicks as I was hitting that key. So I think we're on the right path, that we definitely have the starter issue. It tried to move and basically then got to a bad spot again and would not move. So we'll give her a couple more love taps. Well, unfortunately, no, that's not gonna work. So we're gonna have to pull that out. Try to service it that way. We can take the starter apart, try to clean it up. So I'm gonna get the car up in the air on the quick jacks and we'll take a look from underneath. All right, so here we are underneath the car. Here's an up-close view of the cracked oil pan. Unfortunately, that's gonna have to get replaced before we get too far into this. But other than that, it is pretty dry under here. A little bit of drip here at the bottom of the power steering line going into the pump. But everything else looks nice and dry. These are the new struts that got put on, brand new sock. Supposedly front and rear. This one's definitely new as well. Keep going back a little bit. Here's our manual trans. Underbody looks good. Maybe a little scrapage from the forklift, but no damage. Coming back here. Pretty good. Well, they didn't crease the trailing arm, or the lower control arm, so that's good. And yeah, we do have brand new always shocks in the back too. The end looks good. It's kind of hard to see, but those bushings look pretty crispy. They're not broke, but getting there. Subframe area looks good. No cracks or tears. I mean, there's undercoating, so you can't always see it, but at least with a naked eye, it looks pretty good. Can't see the forward ones because of all the splash shields and stuff. The transmission mounts look good. The Jubo looks good. Guibo, however you want to say it. So it's pretty tight. I can't get the camera up in there, but you have to kind of go up in that corner there with really long extensions and a flex joint to get to those starter bolts. It's easier if you take the trans mount out and drop that down. Gives you a little bit more angle. But I think I actually got ahead of myself. Before I go break my back trying to get that starter out, which I'm sure is the issue, I should really see if this thing can roll over by hand. And for that, we're gonna need to take this beauty cover off again, pull all the plugs out, take this fan shroud out, get on the crank, and see if she spins. I did fill the cylinders with Marvel Mystery Oil after the last video, so that's been marinating at least 10 days, so we should be pretty good. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go ahead and get cover off, coils and plugs out. All right, well, that was fun. So we got the fan shroud out of there. You got to take the two extra pieces. I threw one over there, one here. We got the clutch fan over there, the main shroud. Stupid design. You have to undo the upper radiator hose in order to get that shroud out. I mean, it's just idiotic. I mean, maybe there's an angle, a dangle, certainly not to get that out because the hose goes right through that big hole there. But getting the shroud itself out, just dumb design. And of course, I broke the vent tube going to the overflow, so I'll have to buy one of those. But anyway, we now got access. I'm just gonna use a 33 mil, go down on the crank here. You don't want to use anything too big and crazy because if this thing is stuck and you just go ranking on it, you're gonna break stuff. Apologize about the view, but at least you can see me trying to wrench on it. Oh, I think she's stuck, guys. Oh, there she went. Oh, yes. Oh, thank you. I was really nervous there for a minute. Like I said, this has been marinating for a while, so the cylinders are not dry, they're not full of water. Well, she does move. Whoa! She's a squirter. I wasn't expecting that. I'm sorry, guys. Yeah, it's moving a lot better now. That's how you should feel. Nice. Moving with total ease now. So whatever was in there kind of binding up, it's now gone. All right, well, I'm satisfied with that. I think I might just go hit the key. Maybe it was just stuck a little bit on a ridge, and now we're past it. No, unfortunately, we weren't that lucky. Well, we got the starter out, and that was a whole barrel of fun, let me tell you guys. We ended up doing about half of it, well, most of it from below. Had to take the center section of the exhaust out, drop the trans cross member just to get us access. But we do have it out here. You can see she's a little bit crusty, and well, we'll ignore that. This is a replacement. It was done, I don't know, maybe a year and a half ago, something like that. So it's kind of sad that it's all froze up. I did just want to kind of compare it to the M54 starter. And they're very similar. It's hard to see on camera. I mean, obviously this section is a little bit longer. Well, actually, we're lined up. Oh, they're about the same length, really. This housing is a bit bigger than this. The solenoids are a little bit different. This is a 2-wire solenoid, one on each side. Your main battery coming in that bridges and gives power down to the starter. Versus this solenoid is just the single wire, and then the same two. So I think I'm gonna try to take this apart. I mean, I can't make it any worse, probably. Let's see if we can get it to spin. We just have some Torx on the back, and we'll see what we can find out. All right, so we got a T25 here. I already broke this one loose to make sure that was the right size. Let's go around. We got another one here, and let's get this third one here. This one's going to be the problem child. This is the lowest point of the starter. Ooh, yeah. Oh, can you see in there? So yeah, she's all crusty. That armature is just froze to the magnets. We'll see if we can get it out. Maybe we can get it to free up. All right, well, I do have it spinning, at least by hand. I'm sure it's supposed to spin a little freer than that. There's a lot of Crap still in there. I cannot get the armature out, but the bad news is, it's hard to see, but that top magnet is broke away from the case. So this thing's junk. Looks like I'm gonna be on a hunt for a starter. So just to show, you know, she's still stuck. So while we order some parts, I'm gonna have to find a starter for it. I gotta find this upper coolant hose. I might as well get some spark plugs coming. I think the coils are fine. I've got a spare set from M54. I'm pretty sure they're the same coils. So I think we're good there. Really, I think the next thing we need to do is, if you remember, that oil pan's cracked, and we better go ahead and get a new oil pan put in. And by new oil pan, yeah, that's what we're gonna do. I generally don't hack stuff, and don't worry, this is not going to be a permanent solution. We're just going to get on there, see if she'll hold some oil once we get this stuff in there and set, so we can go ahead, get the new starter on, see if this thing will start and run. I do actually have a replacement oil pan. We will install that. I just don't know that we're gonna do it before that we know it runs. If we know it runs and it runs good, then we'll go ahead and put the new oil pan. If not, the engine's got to come out. You know, if this thing's got a bent rod or, you know, something crazy from it, you know, being underwater, might as well just do the oil pan while it's out instead of dropping the whole suspension. So first thing we got to do is we got to get our brake clean. Yeah, well, it just went down there for us. So I'm gonna get under there, brake clean that up, clean it up a little bit. We'll get some JB Weld on it, let that cure before we bother putting anything actually in it. And before we go ahead and install our new oil pan here, I do want to drain out whatever last little bit might be in the bottom of the pan. Just give this stuff a chance to actually bond and seal. Holy cow, that's on there good. Oh, there we go. That was on there. I don't think anything's gonna really come out. Maybe just a couple little dribbles. I wanna make sure it's totally dry. Yeah, she's totally empty. So let's just spray this thing down. Got it nice and clean. Now, a more proper way to do this would be to kind of grind this back and make sure you have a nice clean edge, but we're not gonna do that either. We're just gonna slap it on, hope for the best. So this JB Weld is a two-part epoxy, so you see the two different colors. We just wanna knead it and make it all one. We want it to be all one color. All right, now you can kind of see it's all one kind of color of gray, so it should be pretty well mixed. I'm just gonna start dabbing it on. Hopefully she'll stick and seal. That would be even better. So I just want it to kind of seal a little bit so we can put some oil in it so it's not totally bone dry when we're trying to crank on it. There, see, you can hardly even tell. It looks factory fresh. I'm thinking it's probably not going to work, but yeah, we'll give it a whirl. And like I said, if it can hold a little oil so we can crank it and it's not bone dry, that'd be fantastic. If not, well, we'll put some oil in it, flush it out, and then drain it back out, change out the oil pan. I got some parts ordered, and for you guys, it'll be just a couple minutes. For me, it'd probably be a better part of the week. Well, guys, it's a few days later. I've been a little busy, and I got a little bit of surprise for you. Turns out the bolt pattern is exactly the same on the M54. The tooth count is exactly the same for the flywheel. So I thought, why not throw it on? Just, before I go out and spend, $200 some on a starter, why don't we just see if it does in fact crank? Because if it doesn't crank, even with the M54 starter, it's really not worth getting the S54 starter. Now the S54 is a higher torque. The gear reduction is different. That's due to the higher compression of the S54, but take a gander here. We've got crankage and we have crank signal. That is just absolutely fantastic. I'm absolutely stoked. I think I'm going to actually crank it over just a little bit longer, get some of that mystery oil out of the cylinders. I did put a rag over it so it doesn't shoot all over the garage, but let's give her another crank. She is cranking a little slow, but that's just because the battery is kind of low. Spinning nice and free, no crazy sounds. Of course, there's no spark plugs in it. I'm absolutely over the moon that this thing is cranking, sounding pretty healthy. There you can see I got the starter in place. Fits absolutely perfectly, bolted right in place. The only real difference is the S54 uses one trigger wire on the bottom, and the M54 has a second spot. I'm not sure what the second spot is on the M54, but the S54 doesn't use it, and as you heard, cranks just fine. So we got that all in place. Let me get my rag off here. It doesn't look like too much came out. There was only a tiny bit in there, but I just didn't want to keep cranking it, having any fluid in there, because, well, it is non-compressible. We don't want to bend stuff. So I think the next step here is going to be in that FCP Euro box and this FedEx box over here in my pile of mess. I've got everything back together underneath, got the exhaust back in, and you can tell by that drip right there that my bod's job on the oil pan did not work. I wasn't expecting it to. I just thought, you know, for funsies, $6, and for $6 it was worth a try. But our next step here is going to be to replace that oil pan. Now that I know that the engine cranks and cranks well, I'm okay with putting the oil pan in. So in order to do that, we need to get the belt off, get this power steering pump out of the way, come under here, drop the sway bar, disconnect the steering shaft, then pretty much just drop the subframe out. Oh, and you know, lest we forget, we need to put an engine brace on, so I'll have to go and dig that out because there will be nothing supporting the engine. So we got to make sure we get that in place. I also did order new plastic pipe, this little piece of plastic that runs over the expansion tank. Guess how much this thing costs? If you guessed $68, you guessed right. I'm gonna go ahead and get the belt out of the way. That you don't really need to see me do. And then I'll get you set up underneath so as we start dropping stuff underneath. All right, well, it looks like I got a little ahead of myself here. And no, that's not me peeing in the background. I just pulled the drain plug, and to my surprise, there was still quite a bit in there. It was totally dry before I put that patch on. You can see there, so it held most of the quart of oil that I put in there. It just did seep a bit, so it sort of worked. If we took a little more time, made sure everything was nice and clean, including my hands putting this thing on it, that might have actually worked, and we might have gotten away with it just at least for testing purposes. But anyway, see, I've got the engine cradle down. I did the power steering pump. There's 3 13s. There are 2 right on the front on this bracket here, and then one kind of through the side of the bracket on the back side. The steering shaft disconnects just an E46. I forget if it's a 10 or 12. I did disconnect this hose from here, the power steering hose. That I'm glad I did, because it gives us a little more room. And we did the 2 engine mounts. And we did the sway bar. There's 4 13 mil nuts. The lollipops off the back. Those are 2 16s. Then 4 14s for the cradle going to the actual subframe. And it pretty much drops right out. So, I mean, it only took me like 15 minutes. So I apologize I didn't record it, but this is already getting pretty long. Next, we've got to disconnect that line there. That's the Vanos line. I think there's a couple things here. Oil pan itself, and about a bajillion 10 mils all the way around the perimeter, and then this oil pan will be out. So I think I'm just gonna crack away. I'll bring you back
as I'm dropping the pan down. All right, guys, we're down to the last bolt. It's already kind of loose. There is history of someone actually did put an oil pan in this, but I don't think they did rod bearings. We'll take a gander once it's out. I'm hoping this thing just doesn't fall. Get that out of there. And here she comes. There we go. It's downish. I just got to reset my shoulder here. What are we hanging on now? All right. Whew. It's down. Still got the gasket up there. Oh, it broke. That's interesting. All right, well, I mean, to be honest, I'm not seeing anything that I disapprove of. It's a little bit of varnishing, but really not bad. There's a little bit of remnants of some chalky milk from the water being in there, but the block, inside the block isn't all crusty. What I can see of the bores, they look nice and clean. The pistons look clean. Connecting rods look clean. I think we're good. I think we're just gonna slam a new gasket and the new oil pan on and we're good to go. Looks like they forgot it when they did it, but this back seam here for the rear main seal housing meets the block. That should have some silicone RTV. There's a tiny bit on this side. Looks like they might have done the front. So we'll have to clean all that old stuff off, put a little dab of RTV on, and we should be good to go. It's been probably a good solid week since I last worked on the flooded M3 here. Did finally get the new oil pan in place. Everything underneath is buttoned up. You can see we're back down on all four paws. I replaced that broken hose that the nipple broke here, remember. Got the intake plenum back on. Got our air duct, mass airflow plugged in. I got our plugs in. I actually just reused the old ones. Based on the Carfax maintenance, there's maybe 3,000 miles on those plugs. I just threw them in the cheek poker. They cleaned right up. So we're going to throw them in there, put those coils back in place, put some oil in it. I think it's time. This is the time that we've been waiting for. Let's see. Finally, will the flooded M3 start and run? All right, so let's see. We got some dash power. That's good. And neutral, parking brakes on. I'm going to hold the regular brake just to make sure this clutch isn't frozen and sends the car through the wall. Oh, she's trying. Come on, baby. Come on. Woo! She kicked a couple times. Let's try that again. Come on, baby. You're doing it. All right, let's try her again. Come on, baby. Let's try that one more time. Oh, she's so close. Come on, baby. Oh, come on. You're so close. Oh, why? Come on, baby. This thing's so close and it smells so bad. Oh, there she is. Oh, she ran. One more try. Now we're losing battery. All right, I added a booster pack. There we go, boys and girls. I had to disconnect the map, so we probably got some good vacuum leaks. Yeah, he's gonna be burning some stuff off. Oh yeah, I can hear the vacuum leak. She's not super happy, but she's running. I can't run along because we don't have any cooling system hooked up. Well guys, we did it. We won't say she's fixed, but we brought back a flooded M3. This thing was flooded all the way, well, the top's down so you can't tell, but to about here on the car. So the entire thing submerged, totally underwater. While the intake was clean, airbox was clean, we still had water that came up through the tailpipe, through the exhaust valves, got into the motor, filled the motor full of water, and then unfortunately it sat for a few months over the winter and cracked oil pans. So after a lot of farting around, we got a new oil pan in it, cleaned out the plugs, put them back in, and she fires up. Now we still have some vacuum leaks. We'll have to figure that out. I might have left something unplugged. Oh, in fact, here we go. Let's try that again. All right, so let's try it again with those vacuum leaks plugged. Starts right up with the map plugged in. Well, it's still missing a little bit. The engine sounds good. I mean, the engine sounds pretty healthy. I mean, it's misfiring a little bit, so she's shaking a little bit. But there's no rod knock, there's no bearing noise, no chain rattle, no top end noise. So this thing, I can't believe this thing came around. So I guess the next step for me, guys, is I got to figure out, can we get a title for this? Just a quick recap. This originally was listed as a flood salvage title at Copart, and then they changed it to a bill of sale only. Now, Georgia did issue a title in January to someone, whether it was the insurance company or Copart, I'm not sure. But I'm gonna see what I can do. Maybe I can do a bonded title, then we can work on this thing and get it back on the road. The next thing that you're gonna see on this, I wanna get this outside. I gotta figure out why it's still running kind of poopy. Clean up this engine bay, finish cleaning the interior, get that back together, and then see where it goes from there. But I need to get that out of the garage. So I wanna get this 330 Ci that I just picked up. That video's already been released. I need to get that in here and start parting that out. Get some of those funds back and flowing so we can spend a little bit more time on this. So I appreciate all you guys watching. I know this was a really long one. I did skip putting the oil pan back in for you guys. I'm sorry. I just needed to kind of pound this one out and get it back together, and so we can move on. So again, thank you all for watching. Hit that like, hit the subscribe button, send me some comments. What do you think of this? Was it worth it? I mean, really, the only thing that I have into this is that $65 hose and oil pan gasket and an oil pan. And then we got this thing running. There's tons of labor involved, but really nothing else going on. And it's fresh oil. But really, I think this is a fantastic step, and can't wait to see where it goes from here.